Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since we had a chat in regards to things that we talk about on this channel, and mainly how you feel after your breakup and why you feel so devastated and frantically trying to get your ex back and thinking that there is something wrong in your life because she has left you now. Um, Again, this channel originally was put together for the purpose of discussing things from boys' point of view, but I guess through the time, many of the girls, women also expressed their interest in the channel, and great. But I talk about one type of relationship, and from boys' point of view, and you guys hopefully modify it and make it, so it would make sense to your situation. However, it's about the fact that you feel so devastated after the relationship is over, and you're frantically trying to get the ex back and thinking there is something horrendously gone wrong and something wrong with you, your value, your worth, and so on. And in the other videos, we've discussed this thoroughly in all different scenarios. And by now, I hope that you have become an expert to know how your psyche works and how you feel because of how you think. And if you change your thoughts, then your feelings will change and you will have a better chance to recover and go on and explore all other wonderful things that this life has to offer. With all its challenges and shortcomings, you can find a balance somewhere in there. However, today I thought maybe from another angle I can hope to bring light to this reaction of your psyche to the events of your life, and perhaps that'll be something helpful to you. Look, many of you feel like, what do? I want to get her back, and it's all devastating. I feel like a loser. My life has come to an end, and all on and on and on. And some of you, a year later, still write me, "Oh, I feel better, but I still feel this and that, so forth." So, while we have discussed this in detail in other videos, let's look at it from a different angle. Let's go back, way back, to where you are not born yet, and your mom and dad are together and they're hoping for procreation. They're trying to have you as a baby. So how is it that in every effort for procreation, something like 300 million sperms are produced, and out of those 300 million sperms, almost every one of them, if not all of them, have this tendency, have this understanding, have this focus, like their lives depends on it, to compete and try to strive for the ovary to bond and create a life, a human being. You. Where do they get this understanding, this goal, motivation? Where? From where does that instinct, perseverance, focus, energy, from where does it come from? It's just a sperm, not even a fetus yet, hasn't even bond with the ovary yet. How then? Have you thought of this? Can we not then establish and conclude that this is nothing but a program, a design, a program that is already in that sperm, in that gene. It is beyond your abilities or beyond your control. It has nothing to do with you, your thoughts. It is there. It's programmed from the outset, before you're born. That gene carries with it this focus of survival and to win, to get to destination, to complete itself in the form of getting where it puts its mind at. So you can see that before you were born, this program, this gene is active for survival, because somehow it is programmed into them that if you don't get to the ovary, you die. So it is of utmost importance to them, right? And only one will win, beside the twins and so on and so forth. And that has been you. And that program has come with you to this world. When you were born, you still have that gene that I must go get on to where my focus is, and I must win. I must win. And then through your lives, everything else that you encounter with, whether it's a competition or whether it's, I don't know, some studies in getting a good grade or whatever it is, as soon as they instill it in you that this is what you should do, and you're conditioned to think that is also something you should achieve, then suddenly hell breaks loose if you don't win in your mind. And then you carry this through your relationship. You find a girl, you like the girl, you love the girl, or if you're a girl, find a boy, you love, whatever your relationship is. And then you feel then you got to achieve that point of destination, which is the bonding, getting together, getting to know each other, having this relationship put together, made, flourished. And then when it's not working eventually, which is normal, we've discussed in other videos, our consciousnesses are different and so on and so forth, and then division and conflicts arises, and the duration of the relationship comes to an end. But yet, you think this is, again, one of those situations before you were born that you're supposed to make it work, and now you feel that you have not fulfilled your programming, your gene, that something is now broken, which means you didn't achieve what you were supposed to achieve, and you feel you haven't won because you've been conditioned to understand winning is when you get there, and if you don't get there, that means you lost, which is a stupid way of looking at it, but that's how we've been conditioned. Getting, winning, and not getting, losing, and that's the conditioning. And that reflects back to your programming, and you think now that is broken up, the ex has left you, then you feel like a loser. But that's not really because she was so that wonderful, and on her own she was the thing of the world, best thing after sliced bread. That's not because of that. It's because of your natural programming before you were born, that gene of I gotta get there, I gotta win, otherwise I die, the survival gene. It becomes active and makes you think that this is just as important as when you were trying to be born and competing with other 300 million sperms to survive and come to this world. That's still in there. So your natural reaction and programming and conditioning towards this matter kicks in and makes you think that the hell has broken loose and you're now a loser, and because she's not with you, then it is her that she was so wonderful that you want her. Not that it is your gene that feels that you have to get things in order to feel complete and as a winner. And if you don't, you naturally feel a loser. That's basically how the gene has made you work. However, nobody taught us and put a timer into this gene to stop working once we're born because we still think everything in this life is about winning or losing. If we get it, we win, and if we don't, we lose. That's nonsense. We don't have to compete and win certain things or certain echelon over a bunch of other people or whatever it is that we're supposed to win to feel, I'm worthy now, I'm good, I'm accepted, I'm alive, I'm surviving. No. That gene should have stopped working once you're born, but nobody put a time off on it, and it still goes on. That's why in every situation that has to do with anything to do with winning or you losing, if you don't get it to where you feel you want, you think there's something wrong with you. You think something devastating has happened. And that's the reason why you guys keep thinking that you want your ex back, because you think the ex was so amazingly wonderful. If it was so amazingly wonderful, why is it not working? So it's not her, or it's not him that it was so amazingly wonderful. It's the fact that your gene hasn't shut off thinking that you have to get this working for you, and you think it was her, it was him, it was so wonderful. Not that it is your conditioning, it is your programming to think that you got to keep everything in order to feel you're still a winner, you can survive. No, you can survive without your ex. It has nothing to do with the time that you were not born yet and you were supposed to have this gene working to its fullest in order to make you, successful in winning. That was the only winning that was important. And you did win. So to begin with, you're a winner regardless. You don't have to prove it anymore in your life. But somehow you have been conditioned to think that everything else in your life is just as important as when you were trying to be born and beat all other possibilities among other competitors, the sperms. So if you focus that you're resolved to get this X back, if you focus that the reason that you want this X back is not because she was really that great and all that, or he was that great for you, or the relationship was perfect because of her, it's because of your programming that still hasn't shut off. That you think you gotta win because that's the only way you can feel whole and perfect. No. There's nothing to do with her. Let's put it this way. If you have an apple and you enjoy the apple, you want the apple, is because your system has been put together in such a way that it needs nourishment. And its fuel is in form of nourishment, that some of this nourishment exists in an apple. So the reason that you really want the apple is because of the nourishment that it has. Not because the apple itself, by itself, if you didn't need that nourishment, if it was a fruit that was poisonous to you, by itself that wouldn't mean anything to you. You wouldn't even want it. But the fact that your fuel is things like what is in apple and other foods that we are okay to eat, then you give so much value to apple and you strive for it, you want it. So is it really the apple that is so great, or is it your need, your programming, your necessary fuel for you to function, the nourishment that you want, the ability that you want that nourishment that makes the apple so valuable? Otherwise, apple by itself, if your system wasn't running on that kind of a fuel, it would be useless. How else can I say it to you? If you love someone, focus. Is it that person that is so wonderful that you love her? Or is it the pleasure that you get from her that you love? Is it the pleasure that you get from her and that relationship, that person that you're in love with the pleasure? Or are you in love with the person? It's two different things. If you can understand that you have capabilities to love, you have capabilities to like, you have capabilities to want pleasure, And these are why makes that person or people or things so important to you and so palatable to you. Then you will understand that it's not just that the person, when it's not working anymore, then you can understand that it's not the person that you want. You want that pleasure back. You want that feeling that you were getting from that person or that relationship that you want back. So focus on your ability, your speciality. It is within your control. It is you that makes all these other people that you love lovable. It's your capability to love. It is you that makes the apple valuable, because you are programmed to want apple, to enjoy, to turn that into a fuel that you need. It is what you need that makes things or people important. So it is not always her. It is not always him. It is your ability to love. It's your ability to give value to what you need or what you are interested in that makes that person so valuable. So again, focus. Is it the fact that that person was so all that? That's why you love her? Or is it because of your ability to love is that makes that person so important that you want? So if that's your ability, then you can do it with anybody else. Go find a person that meets your requirements and then create that love with them and that relationship with them, because you're capable to make that love happen again. So is it that person, or is it the fact that you're in love with the pleasure that you receive from a relationship or from that person? So make sure you're not just in love with the pleasure that you receive from a person, and that you're in love with the person. And why you're in love with the person? Because of the pleasure and the things that you're capable to receive and to give. So focus again. Is it that person that is really that important, or the pleasure and the feeling that you get from that person in a relationship that makes you want the X back? And when you understand that is the actual way you feel, and you're capable to feel the same way with another person, then you can choose another apple, because it's not the only apple that can make you feel the way you feel and get the nourishments that you want from it. Every other apple can give you that nourishment, because it's capable, and you're capable to turn that into the nourishment and the fuels that you need from the apple. So on that note, go find other apples and enjoy your life, and get on with this and move on with your life and enjoy the wonderful things that the life still yet has to offer you. Go explore. Hope that will help you out to understand something more about your own way of thinking and psyche and life, and help you to move on and be happy again. Talk to you soon.